Hello, I'm Trevor, and I want to welcome you to the JPEG experience. It's a miserably hot day here in Los Angeles, and so we're going to do some indoor photography. I figured this would be a good opportunity to test out the feature focus bracketing in the Canon EOS R5. Focus bracketing is a little talked about feature that originally came out on the Canon EOS RP, and I've been interested in testing out this feature for a while. So what is focus bracketing? Focus bracketing is a setting to automate a technique called focus stacking. The goal of focus stacking is to get a final image that is perfectly sharp front to back. Imagine you are taking a single image of a ruler and you want the entire ruler sharp in the image. If you focus on the 1 inch mark and you take the photo, you only have a few inches sharp. Now, if you take another image of the middle of the ruler, you only have the middle inches sharp. And then finally, you take an image at the end of the ruler and you have the end inches sharp. You can do some post-processing and take 3 different images only using the sharp sections of the 3 images, and boom, you have yourself a sharp image front to back. This is commonly used in landscape and macro photography where limited depth of view is an issue. Landscapes are difficult to get a huge area in focus in a single image. In macro photography, the lens is so close to the subject, the depth of field is sometimes only a few millimeters long. This is the value of the technique focus stacking. The common problem with focus stacking is to know exactly what your depth of field is and knowing exactly how many shots you need to capture the entire scene in perfect focus. The next hurdle is actually focusing on those exact spots, and if you or your camera mess up, you end up with an out of focus area in your final image. Now, back to focus bracketing and why I'm excited to try this feature out. The feature takes a lot of guesswork out of this technique of focus stacking. You can turn on this feature, set up your composure and your exposure, set the focus on the closest part of your scene, and the camera will automatically take images until you're at infinity focus. We are using the Canon EOS R5 with the Canon 100mm macro. To turn on the feature focus bracketing, select the menu button, go to the shooting menu, scroll over to page 5 of the shooting menu, scroll down to the bottom, focus bracketing. The first option is to enable and disable focus bracketing. Select this, click enable. The camera does not create folders when using this feature. Consider creating a folder beforehand. Next, choose the number of shots to take. Always choose the number higher than what you think it'll be. It'll automatically stop when it reaches infinity focus. Next is focus increment. This decides how many shots will be taken and at what distance between focus points. 1 being the most narrow and the most shots taken, 10 being wider and the least shots taken. Alright, so settings, we have autofocus, 1 point, 1 shot, drive mode, single shooter. We have our own custom white balance. Now, we got to find our focus. Our exposure looks good. There we go. Nice feature. It's ×6. $15.
Perfect.
I would recommend setting a 2-second delay. That way it allows the camera to settle and it doesn't introduce any camera shake in the first few shots taken. Here you can see focus bracketing at work. It automatically takes about 90 shots and stops it automatically at infinity focus. Here you can see the camera automatically move focus a little bit further every single image, and you'll see it stop here at infinity focus. Let me show you the full focus bracket sequence of about 90 shots. You can see the very narrow changes to focus starting from the front and automatically stopping at infinity focus. I've uploaded the sequence into Lightroom. I've taken each sequence and put them into a stack by selecting the sequence and hitting Ctrl-G. I then select the images in the sequence that I would like to focus stack in Photoshop. I select all images of just the flower in focus, choosing not to include the background shots that I want to keep out of focus. I upload them as layers into Photoshop. It will take a while to load all the images into Photoshop. Once complete, I select the option Auto Blend Layers under the Edit menu. Select the Focus Stacking option and it will automatically blend the images. This can take a while. Once complete, review the image to make sure that the photos were stacked together well. You can see here it did a pretty good job. There are a few areas with mistakes, like the top left section of the flower, but that will be easy to fix. Much easier than if I were to try to blend manually. Here is the 33 image stack without any editing or fixing. It did do a pretty good job. You can see some camera shake in the front of the flower because I forgot to put a 2-second delay when starting the focus bracketing. Here is the area that did not blend well that will have to be manually fixed. Overall, the focus bracketing feature worked well with Photoshop to create a very sharp image of this flower. I can see where this feature would be beneficial in landscapes and macro photography, and I look forward to using it more in the future.
Alrighty, even though it's over 100 degrees out, playing with the flowers in the house is just not good enough. So I'm braving the heat, hiking out in one of these trails near the house. Should be able to see downtown LA in the background. We got sunset over here, and hopefully I can set it up, try to check out this focus bracketing and see if it's really worthwhile. So I did some focus bracketing at home with the hibiscus flower, and it was pretty cool, encouraging. A few things off the bat that I didn't like. One was it appears that it uses the electronic shutter as opposed to the mechanical shutter, which makes sense because they're just trying to take as many shots as possible. But I was hoping to incorporate this mode into other things than just focus stacking, because there really is no way to automate autofocus on a camera. So I think this the ability opens up all kinds of creative potential. But I'm gonna test some stuff out, see if I can get it to work. So I'm here set up with the R5. I just did a focus bracketing shot, starting with this dead grass red flower right here. And it took about 150 shots maybe, starting from real close focus into infinity during the sunset. at which time I then started a time lapse, and I'll let that go for a little bit. I'm curious to see if the focus bracketing would actually be a cool way to start some time lapses with a that intro of out of focus into focus, and then the actual time lapse after that. So we'll see. It's an experiment. It's an interesting feature that I plan to use in the future and to see what I can do creatively with it. And this is just the very first time, so hopefully I get something good out of it. So we're hanging out here for a little while. All right, still out here. I just finished up the time lapse, packed up my stuff, now hiking back to the car. Pretty cool feature so far. There's certainly some stuff I would like added to it or changed to it. It's like 9 o'clock, like 90 degrees outside still. Freaking miserable.
Thank you for watching as I've played around with the R5 and the feature focus bracketing. So let's go over what I like about the feature focus bracketing first. I like the speed that it captures the images. Normally, it takes a long time when you set up for a landscape or macro shot when trying to focus stack. You throw the camera on the tripod and you focus, you shoot, you focus, you shoot, and it's not very fast or efficient. Even worse, all that time manually selecting the focus spots, the conditions can change. Things can move, lighting can change, and this can lead you to missing the shot completely. It can also be challenging to be systematic about taking enough shots at the correct distances to make sure you don't miss any shots for the final image. Nothing is worse than trying to stack a bunch of images and realizing that one area is out of focus after the fact. While using focus bracketing, the burst shooting is very quick and systematic and can help reduce changes in the scene and eliminate missing focusing on parts of the image. I was able to get this image of a bug on a rose using focus bracketing that I wouldn't be able to get if I was manually focus stacking. The bug was constantly moving, and the feature's ability to get about 30 shots taken in just over a second made it possible. Okay, so now a few things that I don't like or I would like to see upgraded. I don't like that it uses only the electronic shutter. I wish that it had an option to use the mechanical shutter as well. I would like to see an option to take one shot at a time as opposed to the full sequence being taken all at once. I think it would be cool if there was a way to incorporate intervals between the shots. I think it would be a really cool way to start a time lapse with the focus automatically changing between frames. I would like to see longer shutter speeds available in this mode. The longest shutter speed is half a second. Most of my landscape photos are in low light, and this could limit its usability. I would like a more comprehensive selection besides the 1 to 10 in the menu for how many shots will be taken. Without doing a ton of trial and error with every lens at every possible aperture, there is no way to know how many shots will be taken when you make the selection. I think the camera should know how many shots will be taken with a lens at a particular aperture setting. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool feature in the Canon R5 that I will be using in the future. I think the feature has a ton of potential to upgrade and expand on. I think this feature could be used in a lot of creative ways. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and would like to see more, please like and subscribe below. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. And thanks again for watching. Until next time.